Chosen one, pause for a moment and quiet your spirit. You are not here by accident, and you did not press play by chance. This moment was arranged by heaven itself, aligned with perfect spiritual timing, and your soul recognized the call before your mind could explain it. Every step you walked, every delay you endured, every burden you carried has led you here. God has orchestrated this encounter because something is shifting and you are standing at the edge of a supernatural breakthrough. Anointed one, hear this with reverence. This is not a season of striving or surviving. This is sudden elevation, divine wealth transfer, and heaven-sent transformation unfolding before your eyes. What once felt heavy is lifting. What once felt uncertain is coming into order. As it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, the vision is for an appointed time, and at the proper moment it will speak and not lie. That appointed time is now. Chosen one, from this moment forward, provision is no longer your burden. God is assuming responsibility for what concerns you. You were not created to chase money, titles, or systems built by men. You were called into alignment with a higher order, a divine assignment, and a flow that does not run dry. Let your spirit open. Let faith rise. What you are about to receive will change how you see yourself and how you walk forward from this day. Chosen one, before we go deeper still, your spirit for a moment. What you are about to hear is not information, it is impartation. I speak to you as someone who has walked through silent seasons, who has known what it feels like to search for purpose, identity, and direction. And yet I've also tasted what it means when heaven steps in, when God himself interrupts the ordinary and calls you into something higher. Chosen one. Most people spend their lives chasing shadows, titles, salaries, positions, a sense of security that dissolves the moment they reach for it. They rush through life, trying to fit into a world that was never designed to understand their spirit. But you, anointed one, were never meant to live as a seeker of scraps. You were crafted to walk as a carrier of destiny, a reference point, a light that cannot be hidden. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I too chased after things that were never mine. I thought my value depended on what I achieved, what job I held, how much I could prove. But heaven corrected me. God whispered to my spirit the same truth He is whispering to you. Now you are not your job. You are your purpose. And purpose is not found in the noise of striving, but revealed in the quiet of surrender. When God says, stop looking for what is not yours, He is not calling you into passivity. He is calling you into alignment. He is redirecting your spirit away from fear-driven motion into faith-driven clarity. Chosen. One, heaven has been marking your steps long before you understood the season you were in, the gifts inside you, the vision, the intuition, the creativity, the compassion. None of them are accidents. They are divine tools written into your design before your birth, placed within you to guide you toward a path that does not come from human systems, but from heavenly intention. When I first began to recognize this in my own life, I realized I had been moving like a person searching for lost treasure, always afraid there would never be enough. But the moment I shifted from seeking to discovering, everything changed. Seeking comes from fear. Discovering comes from revelation. And revelation comes only when you let God guide you step by step, not rushing ahead, not forcing what does not flow, but surrendering to divine timing. I know how easy it is to feel pressure from the world. They tell you to work harder, push further, grind until you break. They glorify exhaustion and call it success. But the kingdom of heaven operates differently. Heaven says, I am your shepherd. You will not lack. Heaven says abundance flows not from force, but from obedience. Heaven says you were not born to compete, but to stand apart. Chosen one. Your value has never been tied to a paycheck, a title, or a place in someone else's system. Your value is anchored in your ability to walk in the plan God uniquely designed for you. And I can tell you from experience, God never reveals the whole path at once. There were years when I only saw one step at a time, and even that step felt uncertain. But every moment of trust, every small act of obedience became a piece of a bigger picture I could not see yet. And the same is happening now in your life. You are being guided even when you feel lost. You are being prepared even when nothing seems to move. You are being shaped even when you feel stretched thin. The signs of your purpose have always been with you. What brings you joy, what awakens your spirit, what comes naturally to you, what others recognize as your strength. These are not random traits. They are fingerprints of divine design. Chosen one, do not fear the process. Do not rush the unfolding. Every insight, every connection, every opportunity that feels strange or sudden is part of your alignment. You are not here to fit into the world. You are here to shift it. And the moment you stop striving to meet expectations and start walking according to revelation, you will feel the chains of limitation fall away. I say this as someone who has lived through it. God does not reveal your purpose so you can survive. He reveals it so you can thrive, ascend, and operate in abundance that does not run out. When you walk in divine purpose, every resource you need flows toward you, not because you chased it, but because heaven assigned it to your path. And the more you surrender to this truth, the more you will see doors open without force, directions become clear without stress, and provision arrive without fear. Chosen. One heaven is realigning your life. Let it. Chosen one. As we continue, I want you to breathe and open your spirit, because what follows is not merely understanding, it is awakening. There comes a moment in every destiny-marked life when the noise of the world becomes too loud to bear, when the expectations of others begin to suffocate the truth that God planted inside you. I know this moment well. I have lived it. And if you are here listening with a stirred heart, it means you are living it too. The world has conditioned people to believe that value comes from hustle, status, credentials, and constant striving. But your spirit has always known that something deeper, something holier was calling you. You have felt the mismatch, the sense that everyone is running in circles, while something inside you keeps whispering, you were not made for this. That whisper is heaven reminding you of your identity. Anointed one. You were never created to chase after crumbs when your inheritance is a table prepared by God Himself. The systems of this world were not built for your spirit. They were built to survive, not to elevate. But you were not born to survive. You were born to reign, to trailblaze, to walk in divine order. I remember when I was trying to force myself into jobs, roles, and spaces that my spirit resisted. Everyone around me thought I should be grateful, thought I should settle, thought I should accept what looked practical. But practicality is the language of fear, not the language of faith. Deep down, I knew I was abandoning pieces of myself every time I chose security over destiny. And chosen one. You know what that feels like. You know what it is to shrink, to dim your light, just to fit somebody's rules, somebody's system, somebody's expectations. But hear me, alignment will always feel better than approval. When you follow divine purpose, you will disappoint people, but you will delight heaven. And heaven's endorsement is the only approval that produces supernatural results. Chosen one. You carry gifts that were not meant to be buried. The world taught you to see them as hobbies, but God placed them in you as holy instruments. Your creativity is not random. Your empathy is not weakness. Your ideas are not coincidences. Your vision is not unrealistic. These are indications of the path you were created, to walk the path that heaven mapped out long before you took your first breath. And trust me, ignoring these gifts will always feel like spiritual suffocation. When you try to live a life that contradicts your calling, your soul aches. You feel the heaviness, the frustration, the emptiness. You feel like something is missing, even when everything looks fine. That emptiness is not failure, it's a divine alarm system. God is saying, this is not your path. And when God blocks a path, it is not rejection, it is redirection. There were moments in my own journey when I thought God was withholding good things from me, when doors closed so abruptly that I questioned everything. But now I see what I did not understand. Then God is too committed to your destiny to let you settle for a life beneath your anointing. When He closes a door, He is protecting you from misalignment. Chosen one. The signs of God's guidance are everywhere in your life, but you must learn to read them. Pay attention to what brings you peace. Peace is a compass. Pay attention to what energizes your spirit. Your passion is a clue. Pay attention to what keeps returning to your heart. Repetition is revelation. And pay attention to the things that exhaust you, drain you, frustrate you. These are signs of misalignment. Every chosen life goes through seasons of stripping where God removes what you thought you needed so He can give you what you were truly born for. These seasons feel uncomfortable, uncertain, even painful. But I promise you they are necessary. They prepare you, they refine you, they make room in your life for what is coming. Because when heaven elevates a person, He first empties their hands. He removes the counterfeit so the authentic can enter. He breaks the illusion of control so faith can breathe again. I speak this over you prophetically. Chosen one, you are in a season of divine rearrangement. You are being repositioned. The old burdens, the old expectations, the old fears, they are being peeled away layer by layer. God is not punishing you. He is pruning you. And pruning is the preparation for abundance. You are not losing. You are clearing space. You are not falling behind. You are being aligned. And you are not being overlooked. You are being set apart. Your steps are ordered. Your gifts are awakening. Your spirit is rising. And heaven is getting ready to open a path in front of you that no man can shut. Chosen one. As we continue, allow your heart to steady itself, because what flows now is meant to clarify what has been shaking inside you for years. There is a moment in every destiny-marked life when God begins to reveal not only who you are, but who you are not. And that revelation, though freeing, can feel like your entire identity is being dismantled. I know what that season feels like. The confusion, the loneliness, the uncomfortable quiet where nothing seems to move except the questions in your mind. And yet, it is in that very quiet that heaven begins to work with precision. Anointed one. When God begins to draw you into purpose, He first separates you from illusions. Illusions about who you need to be. Illusions about what success should look like. Illusions about what the world told you to chase. It is painful to let these illusions go, but it's far more painful to keep living inside them. Many people spend their lives trapped in cycles that don't belong to them. Cycles created by fear, generational expectations, cultural pressure, or simple survival. But you, chosen one, were never meant to be shaped by survival. You were shaped by calling. And calling does not bend to the rules of the world. It bends the world around those who walk in it. I remember a time when I tried to hold on to old identities, old versions of myself that felt safe, acceptable, predictable. I clung to them because stepping into the unknown felt terrifying. But what I didn't realize was that God was trying to remove the weight of who I was not, so I could finally become who I was created to be. That same stripping is happening to you. You feel the tension because your old self cannot walk into your new season. You feel the discomfort because heaven is stretching you beyond what you have known. You feel the uncertainty because purpose requires you to trust what you cannot yet see. But hear me, chosen. 1. Discomfort is not a sign of misalignment. Often it is the sign that God is shifting you into alignment. When God begins a work of transformation, He rarely announces it loudly. Instead, He stirs your spirit quietly. He disrupts your patterns. He unsettles your comfort. He makes the familiar feel foreign, not as punishment, but as preparation. You may have noticed this in your own life, how certain environments no longer feel right, how certain conversations drain your energy, how certain relationships no longer align with your spirit. These are not coincidences, they are spiritual signals. Heaven is detaching you from what no longer fits your assignment. Divine purpose requires divine separation. And separation always feels like loss before it feels like clarity. I remember losing things I thought I needed, opportunities that once excited me, relationships I thought were permanent plans I built with confidence. When they fell apart, I questioned everything. But now, with hindsight, I see the mercy in the loss. If I had held on to those things, they would have held me back from who I was becoming. Chosen one. You must trust that what God removes is never greater than what He is preparing. You are not being emptied to suffer. You are being emptied to receive. And in this season, one of the most important things you can do is listen. Listen to the way your spirit reacts to certain paths. Listen to the restlessness that rises when you're out of alignment. Listen to the peace that enters when you move toward what resonates with your soul. God's guidance is not always thunder. Sometimes it is simply the absence of struggle. When something is meant for you, the weight lifts, the clarity increases, the timing flows. The burden does not multiply, it lightens. This does not mean the path will be easy. It means the path will be anointed. And anointing removes the need for force. Chosen one, there is a divine ease waiting for you on the other side of surrender. That ease is not laziness, it is alignment. It is the grace that follows obedience. It is the flow that comes when your steps match heaven's rhythm. But to access that ease, you must release the urge to control. You must release the idea that your worth is proven by effort. You must release the fear that if you stop striving, everything will collapse. You are not sustained by your effort. You are sustained by God's purpose. I say this with deep reverence. One of the greatest shifts you will ever experience is when you finally understand that you are not responsible for forcing what heaven has already ordained. Your only task is surrender. Your only posture is trust. Your only job is obedience. And when you lean into that truth, something extraordinary happens. Doors that resisted you begin to open, opportunities you could not imagine begin to appear, and the weight of striving begins to fall off your shoulders. Chosen one. You are stepping into a season where divine alignment will replace human effort. Let it happen. Chosen one. As we continue into this next movement of your journey, I want you to lean in a little closer because this part carries a deeper truth, one that many ignore, resist, or run from. yet it is the very truth that unlocks divine acceleration. At some point, every anointed one must confront a sacred reality. You cannot rise while holding on to what was only meant for a previous version of you. You cannot ascend with weights tied to your ankles, nor can you step into a God-designed future while gripping man-made expectations. This realization does not arrive gently. It arrives through disruption, through sudden shifts, through moments when the life you carefully constructed begins to shake without warning. And you, chosen one, know what that shaking feels like. You know what it is to wake up one morning and sense that something invisible has changed, that something familiar no longer fits, that a season has quietly expired. At first, you may think something is wrong, but nothing is wrong. What's happening is alignment. Heaven is rearranging your environment to match your identity. Divine calling changes you from the inside out, and then slowly, inevitably, it begins to change everything around you. And that change is often misunderstood by those who remain tied to the old version of you. They may call you distant, different, hard to read. They may think you're acting strange, when in reality you are simply becoming. You are shedding layers that no longer reflect who God has called you to be. You are being refined, stretched, and recalibrated. I remember this transition well in my own life. I didn't wake up one day with sudden clarity. No, the shift came gradually. First, as restlessness. Then, as dissatisfaction with what once felt normal. Then, as a quiet inner pull, a pull away from noise, from shallow goals, from empty pursuits. It's like God was whispering, "Come higher." But coming higher required leaving certain things behind. And leaving is rarely easy, not because you are weak, but because you are loyal. Chosen ones love deeply, commit deeply, and carry others deeply. But part of your spiritual evolution is learning that loyalty to God must outweigh loyalty to comfort habits or even people who cannot go where you are going. This is why many chosen souls go through a season of isolation. A season where people fade, opportunities dry up, and familiar doors close. Not because you failed, but because heaven is clearing your path. How can a new chapter begin if the old one is still cluttered with attachments? How can new blessings enter if your hands are full of yesterday's burdens? Chosen. 1. God is not taking things from you. He is taking things off you. Taking off fear, taking off scarcity, taking off identities that were built from survival rather than destiny, taking off patterns you adopted to cope but are no longer needed for the person you are becoming. When heaven is ready to elevate you, separation becomes a divine necessity. And separation requires trust, because what you lose in the flesh, you gain in the spirit. What you release in your hands, God multiplies in His timing. But here's something essential that few people talk about. The transition between seasons is not linear. It is not smooth. It is not predictable. It is a spiritual wilderness, a place where God strips distractions, quiets the noise, and begins to reveal the blueprint of your next level. A place where your faith is stretched because nothing external seems to confirm what God whispered internally. I have walked through that wilderness more than once. I have been in rooms full of people and still felt a divine aloneness. I have watched opportunities die in my hands, only to later realize they were never meant to grow. I have cried out for clarity, thinking God was silent, when in fact He was speaking through the silence, detoxing my spirit from the voices that once influenced me. That wilderness is not punishment. It is purification. It prepares you for abundance. And abundance requires a different mindset, a different posture, a different inner structure. You cannot carry wealth, influence, or divine responsibility with the same mindset you had in your survival season. This is why God allows the in-between, because the in-between reshapes you. Your patience grows, your discernment sharpens, your identity stabilizes, your dependency on God deepens, and slowly, without you noticing, you become stronger, clearer, more aligned. When the next door opens, you will not enter as the version of yourself that cried through the wilderness. You will enter as the version of yourself that was forged through it. Chosen one, do not despise this season. You are not being delayed, you are being developed. You are not being abandoned, you are being assigned. You are not wandering, you are being led. And though the transitions are uncomfortable, they are necessary for your rise. Heaven is preparing you for something weighty, something holy, something that will require all the strength, wisdom, and spiritual maturity you are cultivating right now. Hold your peace, trust the process, and keep your spirit open. The shift is already in motion. Chosen one. As we move into this next part of your journey, let your spirit settle into the truth that what God is doing in your life is not random. It is intentional, deliberate, and deeply personal. Every shift you feel, every door that closed abruptly, every path that no longer feels right, these are not accidents. They are divine indicators that heaven is orchestrating something far greater than what you can currently see. Anointed One, one of the most overlooked aspects of spiritual elevation is the inner transformation that must happen before the outer blessings can manifest. People often desire the breakthrough, the abundance, the supernatural provision, but they underestimate the preparation required to sustain it. God is not only preparing your circumstances, He is preparing you. And that preparation often happens through discomfort, disorientation, and unexpected separation. There was a time in my own life when I pleaded for God to enlarge my territory, to elevate my influence, to open doors I felt ready for. But what I didn't understand was that God will never place divine weight on an unprepared foundation. And so instead of giving me what I asked for, He began working on the parts of me that were hidden, the fears I hadn't acknowledged, the insecurities I had learned to mask, the habits that kept me small, the doubts that whispered lies into my purpose. At first, I resisted this work. I thought something was wrong, but now I see it clearly. Elevation requires excavation. Before God lifts you, He digs into the soil of your soul. He removes what cannot go with you. He strengthens what must carry the next season. And chosen one, that is exactly what He is doing with you. You may not realize it, but every moment you thought was a setback was actually a setup. Every delay was protection. Every redirection was mercy. Every closed door was God shielding you from walking into something beneath your calling. I know it feels like you've been wandering, like you've been in a waiting room with no clock on the wall, unsure of when the next instruction will come. But do not confuse waiting with wasting. God wastes nothing. Every quiet season is shaping you. Every unanswered question is stretching your faith. Every stripped-away comfort is forging your strength. You're being refined, not rejected. Chosen one. There is a reason you could never settle for what others were satisfied with. There is a reason that every time you tried to fit into a life that wasn't yours, something inside you felt tight, confined, restless. It is because you carry a divine assignment that refuses to let you shrink. Your spirit knows the difference between what is meant for you and what is not, even when your mind tries to negotiate. This is why you feel an inner resistance toward things that once felt normal. This is why you find yourself outgrowing places, people, and patterns you once clung to. Heaven is calling you higher. In my own journey, I noticed that as God began preparing me for the next season, the things that once brought me comfort began to feel empty. Conversations that once entertained me became draining. Ambitions I once pursued lost their flavor. God was detoxing my desires, purifying my motives, and redirecting my energy. And though it felt confusing at the time, it was necessary, because the next level requires clarity. It requires focus. It requires a heart that is aligned, not divided. And that is what God is building in you right now. Anointed One, you may be wrestling with questions like, why does this feel so unfamiliar? Why is God moving so quietly? Why am I being separated from what I once leaned on? These questions are natural, but the answer is simple. God is positioning you for purpose. Before He sends the abundance, He strengthens your capacity. Before He releases the promise, He prepares your character. Before He entrusts you with more, He removes the old mindsets that would sabotage the blessing. Think of it like this: if God were to pour the fullness of your calling into your life before your spirit was ready, it would overwhelm you. Not because you are incapable, but because you are still being shaped into the version of yourself who can handle it with wisdom, maturity, and discernment. You are stepping into a season where purpose will require more of you, more focus, more sensitivity, more discipline, more spiritual awareness. And God is making sure that when the blessing arrives, it does not crush you, but elevates you. Chosen One, you must embrace this truth. Preparation is proof of promise. God does not prepare those He has not already chosen. The very fact that your life is shifting, stretching, and transforming is evidence that heaven has already assigned abundance to your future. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being aligned precisely. You are not being emptied to be left barren. You are being emptied, so God can fill you with what matches your calling. You are not losing stability. You are gaining foundation. You are not being separated. You are being singled out. You are on holy ground, chosen one. Trust what God is doing. The transformation you feel is the beginning of divine elevation. Chosen one. As we move into this next part, prepare your heart, because what I am about to speak carries a depth that many are not ready to receive, but you are. You are here because heaven has been pulling you into a higher spiritual awareness, and part of that awareness is recognizing that transformation is not just something that happens to you, it is something that happens through you. Every chosen vessel goes through a season when God begins to rewire the inner architecture of their life. This is not a simple adjustment. It is a spiritual renovation. It is the deliberate tearing down of old beliefs, old habits, old emotional patterns, and replacing them with structures that can sustain divine elevation. And chosen one, you have been feeling this inner renovation for a while now. There are days when your spirit feels stretched, as if something inside you is expanding beyond what your current life can contain. There are moments when you sense a holy dissatisfaction rising in your chest, not because you are ungrateful, but because you are outgrowing the life you settled into. You feel it in the way conversations no longer ignite you. You feel it in the way certain environments drain you. You feel it in the way your dreams now feel too big to ignore. That is not random. That is your purpose knocking on the walls of your comfort zone, demanding more room. That is the voice of heaven saying, you were meant for more. I have lived through this expanding and stretching, and I know how overwhelming it can feel. In my own journey, I experienced seasons where I felt caught between who I used to be and who I was becoming. I didn't recognize myself anymore. Old desires faded. New desires emerged. Old priorities crumbled. New ones took their place. And though I didn't understand it at the time, I now see it clearly. God was enlarging my capacity long before He increased my territory. And that is exactly what is happening to you, chosen one. God enlarges the vessel before He pours the oil. He strengthens the container before He releases the blessing. He expands the heart before He entrusts the calling. Many people pray for overflow, but they don't recognize that overflow requires structure, discipline, and spiritual maturity. You cannot carry the weight of supernatural provision with a mindset shaped by scarcity. You cannot handle divine opportunities with habits shaped by survival. And so God begins to shift you from the inside, breaking mental patterns that once kept you safe, but now keep you small. This inner breaking can feel like uncertainty, but it is actually liberation. It can feel like instability, but it is actually awakening. Chosen one, pay attention to what God is releasing you from. Internally, fears that used to silence you, doubts that used to paralyze you, narratives that used to define you. These internal chains are breaking. You may not hear the sound, but your spirit feels it. God is removing the lenses that once shaped how you saw yourself and replacing them with truth. And this truth is simple. You were never who the world told you to be. You were who God designed you to be from the beginning. He didn't create you to chase validation. He created you to carry revelation. He didn't create you to mimic others. He created you to embody the identity He placed within you. But stepping into that identity requires courage. It requires letting go of the version of you that was built around fear, pain, expectation, or survival. It requires trusting that who you are becoming is worth the discomfort of the transition. In my own walk, I had to confront the fact that the person I had built myself into was not the person God created me to be. I had learned how to navigate life with defense mechanisms, pride, self-reliance, and overthinking. But purpose required me to release those things. It required me to soften, not harden. It required me to trust, not control. It required me to listen, not strive. And that inner surrender was one of the hardest but most freeing shifts I ever experienced. You, chosen one, are being brought into that same surrender. God is teaching you to release your grip so heaven can take hold. He is teaching you to walk by revelation, not logic. To move with the Spirit, not with fear. To trust that the unknown is not a threat, it is an invitation. This shift is not only spiritual, it affects every area of your life. Your relationships begin to change. Your priorities begin to change. Your sense of self begins to change. And though it may feel like you are losing stability, what is really happening is the opposite. You are being anchored in truth, anchored in purpose, anchored in God's timing, anchored in your calling. And when God becomes your anchor, no storm can throw you off course. Chosen one, you are not unraveling, you are unfolding. You are not breaking, you are being rebuilt. You are not losing yourself, you are returning to yourself, the version God intended from the beginning. Allow this inner transformation to continue. Let heaven reshape you. Let the Spirit expand you. Let the old fall away without resistance. Because what God is forming in you now is preparing you for a life far greater than the one you are leaving behind. Chosen one. As we continue, I want you to take a deep breath and allow your spirit to receive this next revelation. Because what I am about to speak to you is not merely encouragement. It is a prophetic unveiling of what God is constructing within you. You have reached a point in your journey where the inner transformation is beginning to press outward. What once stirred quietly in your spirit is now pushing against the borders of your reality, demanding expression, requiring movement, insisting on alignment. And if you feel that tension, that inner pressure, that sense that something invisible is trying to burst into the visible, then hear me clearly. You are standing at the threshold of manifestation. Anointed One. For a long time, God has been working in the hidden chambers of your heart. Hidden seasons are not punishment, they are preparation. Hidden seasons are where God builds the strength that the public season will require. Hidden seasons are where identity is fortified, where character is purified, where vision is sharpened. Many people crave visibility but resist the hiddenness that develops the spiritual muscles needed to carry divine assignments. But you, chosen one, you survived your hidden season, even when you didn't understand it, even when you felt unseen, unheard, overlooked, misunderstood. Even when you wondered why God kept you tucked away, why He allowed your efforts to go unnoticed, why your prayers seemed to echo in silence. You endured it, and now heaven is shifting you from hiddenness to emergence. But hear me, emergence is not the same as exposure. Exposure is when people see you before you are ready. Emergence is when God reveals you at the exact moment He has fortified everything inside you to withstand the calling placed upon your life. And that is what makes your next season sacred. God Himself is orchestrating your unveiling. You will not rise through striving. You will not ascend through manipulation. You will not force your way into rooms. The rooms heaven has assigned to you will call for you. The opportunities tailored for your anointing will find you. The doors meant for your destiny will swing open not by your effort, but by divine timing. But to walk into this new season, you must understand something crucial. Your spirit is shifting from survival mode to assignment mode. Survival mode taught you how to endure storms. Assignment mode teaches you how to command them. Survival taught you to make do with little. Assignment teaches you to steward much. Survival made you sensitive to danger. Assignment makes you sensitive to destiny. And this shift is not subtle. It reorders everything. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you pursue. It changes what you accept. It changes how you pray, how you speak, how you see yourself. I remember the exact moment this shift happened in my own journey. I didn't recognize it at first. It felt like a subtle awakening, a deeper awareness of my own value, a sense that settling was no longer an option. The fear that once held me back didn't grip me the same way. The insecurities that used to silence me rested quietly instead of roaring. It wasn't confidence I gained, it was clarity. I realized I was no longer fighting for survival. I was preparing for purpose. And chosen one, you are standing in that same transition. You are beginning to see the difference between what drains you and what develops you. You are beginning to feel the distinction between what is familiar and what is aligned. You are beginning to sense that certain things that once fit comfortably no longer sit right in your spirit. This is because purpose tightens the boundaries around your life, not to restrict you, but to protect you. Heaven starts gatekeeping your energy. God begins guarding your time. The Spirit begins highlighting what no longer belongs. And though people around you may not understand this shift, your spirit knows. It knows that you cannot carry old patterns into a new season. Chosen. 1. This is why certain conversations feel heavier than before. This is why your tolerance for chaos is decreasing. This is why mediocrity feels suffocating. This is why gossip, distraction, and spiritual laziness bother you more deeply now. You are outgrowing the version of yourself that used to live on autopilot. You are awakening into the version of yourself that lives by assignment. And with this awakening comes discernment. Discernment about who belongs in your space, who speaks into your life, who walks beside you, and who can no longer continue with you. I need you to hear this with your full spirit. Elevation requires selective access. Not everyone can go where God is taking you. Not everyone is meant to hear your vision. Not everyone can hold the weight of your calling. And though releasing people may feel painful, it is necessary. If their presence threatens your purpose, then their absence becomes protection. God is clearing your circle not to isolate you, but to insulate you. A protected destiny is a fruitful one. Chosen one. You are stepping into a season where your inner transformation is preparing to manifest outwardly. Your spirit is taking shape. Your identity is solidifying. Your discernment is sharpening. And heaven is aligning circumstances around you to match the person you are becoming. You are not the same. You will not walk the same. You will not think the same. You are rising into assignment. Chosen one. As we continue this journey, I want you to let these words settle into the deepest part of your being, because what I'm about to speak carries the weight of spiritual truth that can only be received by a heart that is ready to ascend. There comes a time in every chosen life when your inner shift begins to press so strongly against the outer world that the two can no longer coexist in contradiction. You begin to realize that the life you have known is too small for the identity God is awakening within you. And although that realization can be unsettling, it is also the clearest sign that heaven is calling you into a higher dimension of purpose. Anointed One elevation always begins in the unseen. Long before God changes your environment, He changes your essence. Long before He opens new doors, He expands your spirit. Long before He positions you publicly, He strengthens you privately. You have been in that strengthening season for longer than you may realize. What you thought was stagnation was actually cultivation. What felt like silence was actually strategy. What felt like distance was protection. And what felt like delay was divine timing, aligning itself with your destiny. Now that internal expansion is preparing to translate into external elevation. But here is a truth you must understand to navigate what comes next when God calls you higher. He simultaneously breaks the ceilings you have unconsciously built around yourself. These ceilings show up as beliefs like, maybe I'm not ready, maybe abundance is not for me, or maybe I'm asking for too much. Chosen one, you were never asking for too much. You were asking from too little. The little mindset, the little expectation, the little belief that you must earn what God has already assigned to you. Elevation requires you to unlearn limitations. You cannot walk like a servant when God calls you an heir. You cannot think like a beggar while carrying a royal anointing, and you cannot keep shrinking yourself to fit into places God is calling you to outgrow. In my own journey, I had to confront the ceilings I had built from years of trying to survive. I learned how to be cautious, how to expect little so disappointment wouldn't hurt, how to dim my gifts to be palatable, how to withhold my voice so no one would call me too much. But God did not create me to be manageable. He created me to be meaningful. And the same is true for you, chosen one. You were not crafted to blend in. You were crafted to carry divine influence. But influence cannot flow through a spirit that is still apologizing for its own existence. This is the season where God breaks the apologies out of you. He breaks the timidity. He breaks the fear. He breaks the insecurity. Not by force, but by revelation of who you are, what you carry, and who stands behind you. When God begins to reveal your identity, it confronts every lie you've believed about yourself. You begin to see you were never lacking, you were being shaped, you were never overlooked, you were being hidden for the right moment, you were never abandoned, you were being positioned. Every chosen soul must be positioned before they are revealed. And now you are stepping into the revelation of that positioning. Anointed. One another truth about this stage of your transformation is that your spiritual sensitivity increases. What once felt tolerable now feels unbearable. What once seemed harmless now feels misaligned. You start seeing the spiritual weight behind decisions, environments, and relationships. You feel the Holy Spirit nudging you away from things that drain your anointing. You sense when someone's presence disrupts your peace. That sensitivity is not overthinking, it is discernment awakening. Discernment is the navigator of your next level. Without it, you would sabotage your own elevation. With it, you can identify opportunities that are divine and separate them from distractions that are deceptive. And you will need discernment, chosen one, because elevation attracts both provision and opposition. Not everyone who claps for you is aligned with your calling. Not every open door is ordained. Not every admirer is an assignment. Discernment guards you from counterfeit connections, counterfeit opportunities, and counterfeit affirmations. In my own path, I learned that when God elevates you, He exposes motives. People who were comfortable with your old version may become uncomfortable with your new strength. Some may distance themselves, others may criticize or misunderstand you. But let me tell you this with authority, the removal of the wrong people is part of your elevation. God will never let the wrong hands hold what He is blessing. Do not grieve what heaven is pruning. Do not cling to what God is cutting away. Release with peace. Walk with trust. Keep your spirit open, not wounded. Chosen one. You must embrace this next truth with your whole heart. Elevation requires embodiment. You cannot just intellectually know who you are. You must walk like it, speak like it, decide like it, believe like it. There is a version of you that heaven recognizes, but you must now begin to recognize that version yourself. For too long, you have lived beneath your spiritual status. But now, heaven is calling you to live at the level of your anointing. Your steps are being ordered, your territory is expanding, your identity is rising. You are entering a season where purpose and destiny begin to manifest outwardly, because the inner foundation has finally been built strong enough to sustain it. Chosen one, do not fear your own becoming. Step into it boldly. Heaven is with you. Chosen one. As we continue into this next stage of your unfolding, I want you to let every word resonate like a mirror held up to the deepest parts of your spirit. Because part 9 is where the journey shifts from internal awakening to spiritual authority. Up until now, heaven has been refining you, pruning you, stripping away the unnecessary, strengthening your discernment, expanding your identity, and preparing your foundation. But now, you are entering the realm where God begins to activate the authority within you, not the authority the world gives, but the authority heaven placed inside you from the beginning. Anointed one, every chosen vessel eventually reaches a moment where God reveals not just who they are, but what they carry. And when that revelation comes, everything changes. Because once you know what you carry, you no longer walk as one who merely hopes, you walk as one who commands. You no longer move as one who waits for permission. You move as one who was born with divine clearance. And this is the season where that shift is beginning inside you, even if you cannot fully articulate it yet. You feel it when you speak, and your words carry more weight. You feel it when your prayers intensify not in length, but in authority. You feel it when you say no to things you once tolerated. You feel it when your spirit rises in situations that once intimidated you. You feel it when old fears no longer grip you with the same power. You feel it when you sense a new boldness waking up inside you, not arrogance, not ego, but spiritual certainty. Certainty that you were not placed on this earth to simply survive the days appointed to you. Certainty that your existence carries divine intelligence. Certainty that your presence shifts atmospheres even if others do not tell you. Certainty that the anointing on your life is not casual but intentional. I remember this stage in my own journey like it was yesterday. It came with no announcement, no prophecy, no dramatic sign. It came quietly. One day, I woke up and realized I could no longer pray from a place of desperation. Something inside me shifted. My prayers began to sound different. They became declarations instead of pleas. They became alignments instead of anxieties. They became agreements with heaven rather than negotiations with fear. That shift did not happen because I became stronger on my own. It happened because God had finally matured something in me. He had built a foundation inside me that could hold spiritual authority without collapsing under the weight of it. And chosen one, that is what He has been doing inside you. You are entering a season where your voice carries influence, not because you try to be influential, but because heaven backs your words. People will not understand why your presence brings clarity. They will not understand how your quiet confidence unsettles the enemy. They will not understand how your insight seems beyond your years. They will not understand why your discernment sharpens so quickly. But heaven understands, and the spiritual realm recognizes the authority you carry even before you fully recognize it yourself. Anointed One. Let me reveal something many never learn. Authority is not volume. It is alignment. True authority is not found in loudness. It is found in clarity. A whisper from someone aligned with heaven carries more power than a shout from someone anchored in fear. Authority flows from identity. Identity flows from revelation. Revelation flows from intimacy. And intimacy flows from surrender. This is why your surrender season was so intense. This is why your isolation season was so long. This is why your pruning season was so painful. God was preparing to place spiritual authority in your hands, and He could not entrust it to a version of you that was still shaped by fear, insecurity, trauma, or survival. Authority is weighty. It influences atmospheres, shifts families, restores destinies, and breaks generational cycles. So God had to refine you first, and now you are ready to carry what once would have crushed you. Chosen One. This inner authority is why you feel less reactive now, why situations that once triggered you no longer have power. Why people who once intimidated you now feel small in comparison to the peace inside you. Why choices that once confused you now feel simple. You are not becoming less emotional, you are becoming more anchored. You are not disconnecting, you are discerning. You are not hardening, you are maturing. This authority also changes the way you see challenges. You begin to recognize that obstacles are not sent to stop you, but to strengthen what God placed inside you. You begin to realize that spiritual resistance means spiritual significance. You begin to understand that when the enemy rises, it is confirmation that your elevation is near. In my own life, the greatest resistance always came right before the greatest revelation. The pressure intensified right before the breakthrough appeared. The spiritual warfare increased right before the doors opened. And I learned something profound. Resistance is a sign that heaven is moving things on your behalf. You don't face warfare over places you do not belong. You face warfare over the territory heaven has assigned to you. Anointed One. This new authority will also attract new responsibilities, not burdens, but assignments. People will begin seeking your wisdom without knowing why. Opportunities will appear that match your spiritual maturity. You will find yourself in rooms where your presence shifts the atmosphere. You will speak words that bring clarity to confusion. You will carry peace into chaotic spaces. And often you will not realize the impact you're having because true authority is effortless. It flows naturally from those who carry it. Chosen One, you are stepping into the realm where God activates your identity, fortifies your authority, and positions you for influence that is not man-given but God-appointed. Walk with confidence. The mantle is resting on you now. Chosen One. As we enter this next movement of your transformation, prepare your spirit, because Part 10 carries a depth that requires openness, honesty, and a willingness to see yourself through heaven's eyes rather than your own history. You are stepping into a phase where divine authority and spiritual identity begin merging with something equally powerful, your God-ordained assignment. And while identity answers who you are, assignment answers why you are here. The world has tried to bury that question inside you. Life has tried to distract you from it. Circumstances have tried to silence it, but heaven never forgot it. And now that the layers of fear, insecurity, and confusion have been peeled away, that question is rising again, not to torment you, but to awaken you. Anointed One. Every chosen life carries a divine assignment. It is not always a job, a role, a title, or a task. Sometimes it is a presence. Sometimes it is a message. Sometimes it is a mantle. Your assignment is the reason certain things affect you deeply while others don't. It is the reason you can sense tension in the spirit before it appears in the natural. It is the reason people come to you for clarity, for comfort, for guidance, even when you feel you have nothing to offer. Your assignment is why you survived battles that should have destroyed you. It is why you walked through seasons others could not understand. It is why your spirit carries weight, even when your life felt overlooked. Your assignment is the invisible thread that has pulled you through every chapter of your journey. I remember clearly when I first began to recognize the signs of my assignment. It wasn't through a dramatic revelation, it was through subtle shifts. My compassion deepened, my sensitivity sharpened, my frustration with superficiality increased. My longing for authenticity intensified, and gradually I realized these were not random traits. They were divine indicators. They were heaven training my spirit without telling my mind. Many of the hardships I faced weren't punishments, they were preparations. Every heartbreak expanded my empathy. Every rejection refined my discernment. Every disappointment strengthened my resilience. Every lonely season increased my dependence on God, and one day it became undeniable my assignment was being formed inside my pain, inside my victories, inside my waiting, inside my surrender. And, Chosen One, the same is true for you. You may not fully understand your assignment yet, but you feel its pull, that constant awareness that you are meant for more, that is your assignment calling you, that restlessness in environments that no longer match your spirit, that is your assignment rejecting what is beneath you. That stirring in your heart when you encounter people who are hurting, that is your assignment awakening to its purpose. Your assignment shapes how you see the world. It shapes how you love. It shapes how you respond to adversity. It shapes what you tolerate and what you can no longer tolerate. Anointed One. Your assignment is also the reason the enemy fought you so aggressively. He wasn't intimidated by your personality. He wasn't threatened by your talents. He didn't fear your potential alone. What terrified him was the moment you would awaken to your assignment. Because once a chosen vessel understands their assignment, they become unstoppable. Their suffering becomes strategy. Their story becomes testimony. Their voice becomes weapon. Their presence becomes disruption. Their obedience becomes breakthrough. And this is why your warfare came so early and so persistently. If the enemy could not stop your calling, he wanted to break your confidence. If he could not silence your identity, he wanted to sabotage your self-worth. If he could not steal your gifts, he wanted to convince you they were insignificant. But he failed, because you are still here, and heaven does not invest in what will collapse. Chosen One. Your assignment is not something you must chase. It is something you must allow. It is not something you figure out intellectually. It is something revealed spiritually. And revelation always comes in layers. But let me tell you something profound. Your assignment will always align with what brings you alive, what brings others hope, and what brings God glory. It will also align with the very places where the enemy tried to break you. This is because God often turns your deepest wounds into your strongest weapons. The area where you suffered the most is often the area where you will liberate others. Nothing you went through was wasted. Every battle was building you. Every tear was watering something. Every season was sculpting your mantle. And your mantle, the spiritual weight you carry, is part of your assignment. But here is a truth you must understand without hesitation. Walking in your assignment requires courage. Not the loud, boastful kind of courage, but the quiet, steady courage that says, "I will not shrink." The courage to speak when your voice trembles, the courage to step forward when fear is whispering, the courage to embrace your authority even when others misunderstand it, the courage to obey God even when obedience costs you comfort, the courage to believe you are who God says you are even when your past tries to argue otherwise. In my journey, stepping fully into my assignment required letting go of who I thought I had to be. It required embracing the version of myself that God had been preparing all along. And once I stepped into alignment, everything shifted, not instantly, but undeniably. Doors opened, clarity increased, provision appeared, peace settled. And I realized something I want you to understand deeply. Your assignment attracts what your anointing requires. You will never lack what your purpose demands. Chosen One, you are now entering a season where your assignment is beginning to unfold. Heaven is aligning circumstances, opportunities, and divine connections that match the authority rising within you. Walk with confidence. Walk with expectation. Walk with spiritual awareness. Your assignment is awakening. Chosen One. As we continue into this powerful 11th movement of your journey, I need you to open your spirit even wider, because what comes now is not only revelation, it is instruction. You are stepping into a phase where your assignment is no longer just awakening inside you, it is beginning to summon you. Heaven is calling you into alignment with a precision that can no longer be ignored, dismissed, or delayed. Every chosen vessel eventually reaches this moment, the moment where purpose stops whispering and begins to speak with unmistakable clarity. And when that clarity arrives, it becomes impossible to return to who you were. Anointed One, you may have already felt this shift stirring within you. The sense that you cannot stay where you are. The feeling that your spirit is outgrowing environments, conversations, responsibilities, and even versions of yourself that once felt comfortable. This is not instability, it is activation. When heaven begins inviting you into the fullness of your assignment, everything around you and within you must adjust. Your desires shift, your habits shift, your relationships shift, your priorities shift. You feel pulled toward things that once intimidated you and pushed away from things that once entertained you. This is not moodiness. This is spiritual calibration. God is tuning your spirit to the frequency of your calling. In my own walk, I remember the season when this shift became undeniable. I woke one morning and realized that the things I used to tolerate now felt suffocating. The conversations that once felt normal now felt draining. The dreams that once seemed too big suddenly felt too small. I didn't understand it at first. It felt like everything familiar was dissolving. But now I can see that nothing was dissolving. Everything was evolving. Purpose was rearranging my life, and I had to either surrender or resist. And surrender led me to destiny. Chosen one. I know this stage may feel confusing. You may look at your life and think, why does everything feel misaligned? But misalignment is often the final sign that alignment is near. Before God shifts your external circumstances, He disrupts your internal comfort. That disruption pushes you out of stagnation. It forces you to question what no longer serves your spirit. It awakens your desire for more purpose, more clarity, more depth, more obedience, more alignment with your divine assignment. But here is something you must understand with your whole being. Your assignment will always require a version of you that you have not yet fully met. That is why God continues transforming you. He is shaping the version of you who can carry your calling without collapsing under the weight of it. He is forming the version of you who is bold enough to speak truth, healed enough to love deeply, disciplined enough to steward abundance, and wise enough to navigate influence. You are not behind. You are being built, anointed. One part of stepping into your assignment is accepting that not everyone around you will understand it. People who knew you in previous chapters may struggle to comprehend the version of you that is emerging. They may question your choices, your growth, your boundaries, your confidence, your devotion. But remember this, people who only knew the old, you are not qualified to define the new you. The calling on your life did not come from them, so the validation you seek must not come from them either. Your assignment is between you and God, and anyone who is meant to walk with you will recognize the anointing without needing an explanation. This is also the stage where God begins preparing divine connections, people whose presence elevates you, not drains you. People whose words confirm what heaven already told you. People who sharpen your spirit, not dull your purpose. People who don't compete with your calling, but complement it. These connections are not based on convenience. They are based on destiny. They enter your life because your assignment requires collaboration, encouragement, and spiritual synergy. But for these connections to enter, the wrong connections must exit. Do not cling to relationships that God has outgrown on your behalf. Release with grace. Allow heaven to reorder your circle. Chosen one stepping into your assignment also means stepping into spiritual responsibility. You cannot carry influence without integrity. You cannot walk in authority without alignment. And you cannot fulfill your calling without intentional cultivation of your spirit. This is why God has been teaching you discernment. This is why He has been developing your patience. This is why He has been deepening your awareness. You will be entrusted with more, and that more requires a spirit that is steady, grounded, and attuned to heaven. In my journey, I learned that assignment does not come with comfort, it comes with clarity. and clarity is far more valuable. When you know who you are and why you are here, you stop wasting time. You stop compromising. You stop explaining yourself. You begin moving with purpose, with stability, with a sense of divine rhythm guiding your steps. And that rhythm becomes unmistakable. Doors open differently. Opportunities feel different. Even obstacles reveal themselves as stepping stones. Everything begins flowing toward the fulfillment of your assignment. Chosen one. You are standing in the doorway between preparation and activation. This is your moment to embrace what heaven has been shaping inside you. The time for questioning your worth is over. The time for shrinking your gifts is over. The time for doubting your anointing is over. You were chosen for a reason. You were prepared for a purpose. And that purpose is now calling your name with a clarity you cannot ignore. Rise into it. Trust it. Walk in it. Chosen one. As we arrive at this final movement of your journey, I want you to take a moment and acknowledge how far your spirit has traveled. You did not simply read words, you ascended through them. You grew through them. You shed old layers and stepped into higher truth through them. And now, part 12 carries the prophetic culmination of everything heaven has been awakening within you. This is where revelation becomes readiness. This is where identity becomes embodiment. This is where assignment becomes activation. You are no longer the seeker you once were. You are now the carrier of something divine, something powerful, something unmistakably heaven-born. Anointed one, throughout your journey, you have been refined, stretched, tested, awakened, recalibrated and repositioned. And all of it, every shift, every tear, every revelation, every silent night, every breakthrough was leading you here, to this moment where God is not only calling you, but commissioning you. You have gone through the inner formation. You have endured the wilderness. You have submitted to the pruning. You have outgrown your old identity. You have embraced your authority. You have discerned your assignment. And now heaven says, walk. But walking in your divine assignment requires something that many desire, yet few fully surrender to: partnership with God. Not the partnership of desperation where you ask for rescue, but the partnership of maturity where you ask for direction. You are no longer standing before God as someone who lacks. You are standing before Him as someone He has equipped, shaped, and chosen. And because you are chosen, heaven expects you to walk differently now. Not in fear, but in faith. Not in hesitation, but in obedience. Not in self-doubt, but in sacred confidence. Chosen one. This is the season where you stop questioning what God has already confirmed. This is where you stop revisiting the insecurities that no longer define you. This is where you stop dimming your light for environments that were never meant to contain you. This is where you stop waiting for the world to affirm what heaven has already decreed. You carry a mantle now. A mantle shaped through endurance, refined through revelation, and sealed through surrender. And that mantle is not symbolic, it is functional. It will influence your decisions. It will shape your relationships. It will guide your path. It will protect you from distractions. It will strengthen you in adversity. It will open doors that shut for others. It will draw provision to your purpose. It will turn your presence into impact. In my own journey, I learned that once heaven commissions you, life begins to respond differently. Not because circumstances magically shift, but because you shift. You begin to see challenges as training, not punishment. You begin to recognize opportunities quicker. You begin to value your time, your energy, your peace, your calling. You begin to understand that your life is not random, it is strategic. You begin to walk with a quiet boldness, knowing that you do not move alone. Every step is backed by divine intention. Anointed One, as you step into activation, you must understand a profound truth. Purpose does not unfold all at once. It reveals itself in stages, in steps, in seasons. You do not need to see the entire path to begin walking. God reveals the next step only when you are ready for it. And readiness is not perfection. Readiness is willingness. Willingness to follow the whispers of the Spirit. Willingness to obey when it doesn't make sense. Willingness to leave behind what no longer aligns. Willingness to trust that where God leads, provision follows. And provision will follow you now. The mantle you carry attracts what is needed. Whether it is people, resources, wisdom, opportunities, or open doors, your assignment will never require what heaven refuses to supply. This is why fear must no longer guide your decisions. Fear was for the old season. Faith is for the new one, and the faith you walk in now is not blind. It is built on everything God has already shown you. Chosen One stepping into activation also means stepping into impact. You will begin to notice that your words land deeper. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your insight carries weight. Your compassion brings healing. Your courage inspires others. Your obedience unlocks breakthroughs, not just for you, but for those connected to your destiny. You become a vessel through which heaven expresses itself, not through force, but through flow. And yet, with all this elevation, never forget the anchor intimacy with God. Your assignment may expand. Your influence may grow, your authority may strengthen, but your power will always flow from connection. Remain aligned. Remain listening. Remain surrendered. Because the higher God lifts you, the more essential your spiritual grounding becomes. Anointed One, this is your moment. You have walked through preparation. You have embraced transformation. You have received revelation. You have awakened to identity, accepted authority, recognized assignment, and stepped into alignment. Now heaven declares over you, activate, walk, become, chosen one. Your destiny is no longer ahead of you. It is within you, ready to rise. Chosen one. As we come to the close of this message, pause and feel the stillness around you. Heaven has spoken and your spirit has heard. You are not leaving this video the same way you entered it. The guidance of Archangel Michael, the whisper of divine provision, and the certainty of God's orchestration are now resting upon you. This is your kairos moment, your appointed time, where what was once unclear begins to align, and what once felt delayed begins to move. Anointed One, trust the way your provision is being guided. Trust the invisible hand that has never failed you. The path ahead of you is not random. It is carved by heaven, step by step, blessing by blessing, breakthrough by breakthrough. You are stepping into a supernatural transfer of clarity, peace, resources, and strength. What you need will find you. What is meant for you will not pass you. And the angels assigned to your life are already preparing the way. May every burden lift from your shoulders. May every fear dissolve. May every doubt bow to the truth of who you are, chosen, protected, guided, and destined for overflow. As you move forward, stay aligned with the voice of God and the rhythm of His provision. Walk with gratitude, expectation, and unwavering faith. And chosen one, if this word stirred your spirit, share what it awakened within you. Your testimony may be the confirmation someone else is praying for. Remain connected, remain faithful, and remain ready. The blessing is already in motion. Go in peace, go in power, go in purpose. Your journey continues.